breakfast. Aha! Before I start today's video, I just want a quick shout out to Charlene from Ayr in southwest Scotland. Your husband John left me a message. So thank you, Charlene. Your husband tells me you're a fan of this channel. Blimey, I'm flattered. Thank you very much, it's much appreciated. So, hello Charlene, and I hope everything is good. By the way, everybody who watches this channel, I do appreciate it. Even though I've got about 2 weeks worth of comments I've got to catch up with yet. Sorry guys, but I will get round to it. I'm just a bit slow at the moment. In fact, all this lockdown business is making me lazy. I can't even reply to comments, but I will get there. Anyway, today, I haven't actually got anything to do, so I'm going to rip off the rear subframe on a Mk3 Mondeo and change one of the back bushes on it in a way that I've never done before, just for something to do, just for the hell of it, to make a video. So, onward. Good morning. It is day, I don't know, I've lost count of this stupid lockdown. But anyway, do you know what? I'm literally walking around this garage every day, scratching around for things to do. We've actually cleaned this place up, top to bottom. We've got new, in actual fact, what I'll do is I'll show you what we've done later. New signs, new paint, cleaning materials, you name it. In fact, when the cleaners come down later, they're going to climb on top of this shed where I've got this Mk3 Mondeo hidden. But what I'm going to do, what I thought I'd do today, yeah, I'm going to climb on top of this shed. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do, I'm going to rip the rear subframe off this bloody Mondeo. Because it's something I used to do a lot of, and I used to change the rear subframe bushes because I used to get knocked out on all our taxis. It's something I've not done for a long time. So as I'm totally bored, I've even got a bit of tiling I'm doing, but I can't even do that because the cleaners are going to come down with a pressure washer and blow water all over the doors. So I can't put the tiles down. Anyway, let's rip this flipping subframe off and then I'll have a bit of fun along the way. Seriously though, I've not changed a rear subframe bush on a Mk3 Mondeo in bloody years. I can't get it because we've got, there must be 50 odd Mk3 Mondeos as rental cars here, and they just don't seem to go anymore. But when we had these Mk3 Mondeos as taxis, and I'm going back to like the old Y-Reg 2000, 2001, we were forever changing them. But maybe they're not in fashion anymore. But we're going to do them today because my mate has told, I always used to take the subframe off and I'd bang them out on the floor and then press them in on the press, which I can show you. But my mate says he used to do them on the car. So I thought, well, I ain't going to piss around in here. So what I'll do is I'll take the subframe off. We'll put the subframe on the bench and imagine it's on the car, and then we'll see what tool he uses to actually change them. Just in case anybody ever has to change them and you don't fancy taking the subframe off the car, there is a way of doing them on the car. Anyway, get the old gloves on first. Don't want to get dirty hands. The anti-roll bar link, I would probably clean up the thread with a wire brush and give that a bit of spray of oil because they can get pretty rusty. It's up to you whether you disconnect this, when you take the frame off or not. You can disconnect the anti-roll bar from the 210mm on the actual frame itself, but I always do it this way. The reason being, the 210mm that hold the actual roll bar onto the frame, I sometimes have trouble getting them out. They can be a bit tight, so I prefer to take them off when the frame's off. I'm just going to grip that bar from behind. There's like a metal collar. And then a 15mm impact socket. Yeah, straight off. 18mm bolt on your rear trailing arm. Yeah, get off. Bingo. That come out easy. If you want to give yourself a bit more flex with the ABS wire, you can disconnect it and then that will just hang there. And the actual handbrake cable, you can just leave that connected to the arm. 15mm bolts on these little swinging arms. Woo! There you go. Oh, by the way, before I forget, because I've already removed the exhaust, you haven't actually got to take the exhaust completely off. You would just undo it from its hangers, one here, where the back box is, and you just lower the exhaust down, and you can just hang it up with a piece of string. As long as the exhaust is hanging so much, then you can still fit the frame out. Right. You might not even need a stand, but if you're on like, if you're on the ground on your driveway or something, you're doing this, you might want to put a trolley jack under here or something, just to get the bolts undone. I'll just put that there. So all that's holding this frame on now is 4 15mm bolts, which go right through each bush, each of the 4 bushes. Get the socket on there. There, that's one. There is now nothing else holding this on, so I'll let the stand down, and the whole frame is just actually falling off now. Right, let's pull this out. Whee! Whoops! Anyway, there we go. Got it. Oh, one frame. Right, I'm going to put this in the workshop and then we'll see if we can get these bushes out. Yeah! God, I'll tell you what, it flipping weighs some. Anyway, stop the tape now. It's tea break. So first off, I'm going to try and remove one of these bushes, but you've got to imagine that this frame is still in the car. So I'll lift that on its side like that. So first of all, if we were going to change these bushes on the car, you'd have to undo the 4 bolts that go through the centre of these bushes. Then this whole frame will just hang down, just enough so you can get a socket above the bush. Now this kit I've got here, which something else I haven't used in years, I think this is for an actual Vauxhall Vectra, Vectra B. Used to change like the rear bushes on them Vectras, they used to get knocked out quite a lot. So I'm going to see if this works. I've got some threaded bar, I've got a nut, and I've got this piece here, or this piece here, which we're going to use to push our bush out. So this is the piece of the bush that sits up against the body of the car, the bit you're not going to see. But you've got to get some kind of socket above this bush, there, about the right diameter to fit on the metal collar of the bush, the outer part of the bush. If that is about, it's a tiny bit small, but it might work, we'll see. So I've got a piece of threaded bar and I've got a nut. I'm going to put the nut on the end of the threaded bar and screw it in a little bit. Now this here is actually an old wheel bearing. I'm going to use this on the front of the bush where you've got the big head of the bush is going to get pulled into here. But that's too wide for our nut. So I've got this other piece of metal which kind of sits in there. And when our threaded bar comes through here, our nut will go on the end. I'll show you. So that's our old empty piece of wheel bearing. That's going to be like our collar. And our bolt is going to go straight through there and it's going to butt up in there and that will fit straight through our bush. But remember, this old collar here is bigger, it's a lot wider than the actual head of the bush, so the bush is going to get pulled into this socket. Okay, so our collar will go on there like that, and then we'll put our nut on, like so. Now it's a case of put your socket on. I'm using a 1/2 inch bar because it's probably going to be quite tight. And now we just wind the nut and see if it will move this bearing. It feels a bit crunchy. Okay, I'm going to stop here because this collar is a bit too small. It's actually pulling it at a bit of an angle, so it's not actually going to pull it out. I'm going to try a slightly bigger collar to start with now. Okay, that didn't work. This collar here was getting like pulled into the socket, into the bush. It wasn't quite wide enough, and it was tipping, so it wasn't going to actually do it. I've now removed that piece of threaded bar I had because it wasn't long enough. I've got a normal piece of threaded bar now, which is too long, but I haven't been bothered to cut it down. And I've put a wider collar on here, which should now push that bearing, well, not that bearing, that should now push that bush just a little bit to get it started. So I'm going to wind it from this way now and see if we have any luck this time. It's screwing in. Wait, what the hell? I don't know what that click was, whether it was the actual bush has moved. I'll tell you something, I seem to be able to, this is winding in quite easily. That's actually crushing in the bloody subframe. I think I ought to take this off and see what the score is. Yeah, haha, yes, it's actually pulled the bush out. I'm just wondering if I use a hammer, whether that will just tap out the rest of the way. Woohoo! You see, a hammer and a pair of mole grips is all you'll ever need. In case you didn't know, these bushes, what used to happen is, you see where it's kind of, oh, that's really crispy. where the bush used to peel here, the actual, this is a metal collar, and you've got the rubber bush on the inside. The bush would literally separate from the inside of this metal collar, and then the whole subframe would kind of like move like that. They could get quite a lot of movement in them. They'd start rattling around or knocking around. So that would be the time you'd really need to change these. A lot of the time though, these bushes, they'll peel like that, but the bush is still solid in the middle, and they're okay. The only time you'd ever actually really have to change them is literally if the bush did separate from this metal collar. But you can see in the actual frame itself, there's only 2 points where the bush actually touches. So there's an air gap in the middle. Because I don't have these bushes anymore, and flipping heck, we used to have loads of these in stock. I used to be changing them all the time. But like I said earlier, I've not changed one of these in years now. But if you could imagine this was a new bush, you'd get a bit of Loctite, and you'd put some Loctite. Ford used to sell it, especially for these bushes, they'd sell it with the bushes. But you'd put your Loctite around the points where the bush was going to sit in the frame, which would be around this piece here, and also this piece here. You'd put a thin layer of Loctite around there. And I believe, if my memory serves me right, the bushes are supposed to be fitted in a certain position, because you'll notice there's like 2 cutaways here, like this is pointing that way. And the bottom bush is actually different to this one here. The bush nearest the anti-roll bar has just got 2 like slots on the sides, which go in line with the actual length of the car. So if you observe how these bushes look to start with, you'd put the new bushes in the same way. So that bush would now pop in there like that. And this is the bush that's nearest the rear of the car, but the little pointy bit would be facing like the other bush going towards the front of the car, if you know what I mean. So if you can imagine refitting these on the car, it'd kind of be like the reverse of taking them out. This time you'd have a socket which actually fits over the edge of the actual metal part of this bush like that. If you've got a nice good fit there like that, like so. Put your threaded bar right through the centre of that socket and right through the bush. Then you'd use another socket on the other side, the underside, but the actual hole in here would be considerably bigger than the edge of the bush. So the bush can actually come through. It's not going to get stopped. So that will go there. Wind our nut onto this one. And now it's just a case of tightening the nuts to literally push the bush back into the subframe. So I'll have a go. Yeah, that's just about it now. There's just a little fraction more. Yeah, come on. To push that in flush. This is the first time I have ever attempted to do these bushes as if I was going to do them on the car. And I can tell you, it seems like a whole lot of messing around to me. I think I'd rather just take the subframe off myself and just hammer them out. In actual fact, I'll show you how I used to take these bushes out. I'd use like that big wheel bearing and I'd put that over the bush like that, and then I'd prop the whole frame up on blocks of wood so it was secure on the ground. Then I'd get another socket on the edge of the metal collar of this inner part of the bush like that, and I would literally whack it with a hammer until you actually bashed it out of the frame. But in most cases we'd just put the bloody subframe here in a press the bushes out and press the new ones in. That was the best policy. I think, you know, if you had to change a lot of these bushes and you didn't want to take the frame off, but bear in mind, getting the actual subframe off these Mark III Mondeos is quite easy. But if you didn't want to bother with that and you just wanted to change these bushes in the car, it's like, you'd probably best buy the proper removal tool to do it on the car. That'd be the simplest solution, rather than trying to mess around with bits and bobs that you're trying to find to make fit. Because the actual tool itself, it would be a perfect fit on the bushes. But yeah. So most of these I ever done, I just bashed them out of a hammer. Or in a lot of cases, if they are really tight in here, because sometimes these bushes can be pretty tight in this frame, it's a lot easier to do it on a proper press. Before I finish up with this subframe, just a couple little notes here. In order to remove these rear bushes, you're probably best, in all honesty, removing this anti-roll bar. There's a 10mm bolt either side holding like a U-clamp on. The problem is these bolts get seized in. I wouldn't use an air gun on it because you might well snap it, but there's a hole in the back of the subframe. So you could probably spray some Freon oil in there and leave that sit for a little while. It might help a little bit. Then try and undo them with a bar, but you might have to sort of like turn it backwards and forwards, because I've had a lot of these bolts, they get so seized in there, they're quite a job to get out. In fact, I'll give it a try just to see. Even the socket don't want to go on because there's so much rust on it. And I'm using a 1/2 inch ratchet here, nice big one, and nah, I can feel that is going to snap. That is literally going to snap. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom. You could try putting some heat on it, but there again, you're going to burn all your bushes if you do that. You'd probably, in all honesty, be best just to snap this off. Then you can knock in your captive nut, and then you can like fit a new nut on the inside. There's a gap in the subframe. You can put a new nut in, and then you can just screw a new bolt into it. We'll have a go at this side. See if this one comes. This one's moved. It actually feels much better. Nearly there. That's it. Nice, that would need cleaning up. And then our roll bar can come out of the way and you can get to your bush properly. Another thing I wanted to point out was the actual suspension arms, the swinging arms at the rear of this frame, they are adjustable here. If you crack these nuts off, there's one on each arm, you can adjust your rear wheel alignment. Problem is, on a car of this age, this is like an 05 or 06 plate, they're rusted up. So you, well, all I can say is, if you ever have to adjust these, good luck. And last of all, when you do refit this back onto the car, there's a hole either side. You have to use a tool or a broom handle or something to put through there, through the frame and into the body of the car. That will align the subframe, because you've got to line these subframes up somewhat with these things. They're the same in all the Mondeo range. Normally you'd use these like pins on the front subframes to align them up, because the rear ones, well, rarely get touched. But yeah, these rear ones, they are supposed to be lined up as well. Anyway, flipping it, I've lost interest now. Let's go and do something useful like climb a ladder. Hi guys. Does any of you guys want to go up on the roof, clean it up, pressure wash the roof, clean all the muck off it? Anyone?
Yeah, I feel like sunbathing. You hide sunbathing up there. Yeah, no one knows that.
You can't get the staff these days. No one wants to climb a goddamn ladder except me. Come on.
You should be able to do it.
Yeah, nice. You see the jobs I have to do?
You really are fucking great. Yeah, that's pretty
Cool, hang on a minute. That guy there, in that fancy coloured Focus, he's a dodgy painter. Alright, dodgy painter. Hey, how you doing?
Alright.
Right, I'm going to point this out. This guy here, where are you? I can't see nothing.
You can see me now.
He's got the flashiest taxi on the fleet. Look at this Mercedes Benz. Woohoo! What a nice car you've got. Tell me something.
Oh, it's our new executive line in the Steve taxis, you know, it's a Mercedes-Benz C-Class. So, customer just loving it.
Now I might be able to afford one of these in the next life.
Possibly.
Tell me, how comes, now most of the cabs are off the road, are you earning any money?
No, at the moment.
You're
because
not?
Because of coronavirus.
But is there enough work out there to keep you going?
Yeah. Just enough.
At least
Just for the bills, or to cover your rent and everything, so food and everything, that's fine.
cool.
Once it's done, we're back in the game.
Anyway, mate, I like your car. I don't think we'd like a fleet of them here. I wouldn't know how to fix these if they went wrong. But it looks very nice. I actually wouldn't mind going for a ride in this at some time.
Yeah.
But I want a free lift. Hey, Monica, how's it going? Don't run off.
Huh?
I'll be needing your services later. Anyway, nice chatting to you.
Thank you very much.
You're going to be on YouTube, you realise?
Yep. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah. And enjoying Steve Taxi then.
Yeah, when I want to go to the airport, I'll know which car I want to go in. It'll be this one.
Definitely Mercedes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day. Look at this, all these... Shut up! He's a noisy kid, isn't he?
Yes.
Right. Tarek, what brings you down here?
Well, Steve's MOTs, great place to have your MOTs done. And they're running a promotion at the moment, £25 a throw. So there's
hang on, £24?
£24 a throw.
Is it charging you £1 more?
He is, yes.
Hang on a minute. Let me just say. Nice car.
And here's a joke. What has the cameraman and me got in common? No hair. He's the twin brother I never had.
He's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got to get on.
All right. See you later.
I'd have to stand and chat all day. I can see your sunbathing.
Oh yeah, I was Caucasian.
By the way, when I put this video out,
Yeah.
you're going to be on it.
All right.
All the people in YouTube land are going to be watching you.
See you later.
See you in a bit.
Yes.
Tea break time again. I've been on that bloody roof, cleaning all that guttering up there. I've swept the whole roof. I'm really sort of like, ooh, kind of hot now. So I'm going to have another break. Right. Okay. I suppose I better get back on it. I don't know what I'm going to get back on. Tell you what, I can hear a lot of noise. Sounds like a pressure washer. But you see, here's the problem. There's next to nothing in the way of work. Sort of like, we might have a couple MOTs a day and maybe a little bit of workshop work. There's no taxis need servicing because we've done them all. I think what I'll do is I'll pop through the office and then I'll nip outside, because we've actually put the MOTs down to £24 now. They were £40, now they're £24, simply because there's no work. So it might drag a few more people in, plus people are getting a bit short of money anyway, so if they can get a cheaper MOT, it's a bonus all round. So it helps us all out. Anyway, I'll nip through the office, say hello, then I'll go and see what's going on outside. Here's the busiest lady in the whole of the company.
I thought you to say country then.
Whole of the country.
Yeah, that'll do.
What you got there? Business support, grant funding.
Yeah, business rates.
Oh, you're looking for some money.
Trying to.
Talking of money. Hello, Miss M.
Hi.
Talking of money. What are you shredding?
Money.
Oh. Any chance of a pay rise?
Can I have one?
Listen, you deal with the money, you can give yourself a bloody pay rise.
Yeah, I don't think how that would go down there.
What about poor old me? I live on shackles every day.
You're earning more than me.
No. I thought I was less than you.
No.
Anyway, have a nice day. I'm gonna pop outside and see what's going on.
Nothing much.
There's a lot of noise going on.
Better stay inside. Oh.
Just checking out the tattoo. What's the tattoo of?
It's music-y.
Oh, YouTube land wants to know what the tattoos of. You got any more tattoos? Cool. What's that? Dog paw?
Dog paws, yeah. Infinity and a heart.
Oh.
Oh.
Nice. Like them? I like the Apple Watch as well.
Thanks. we already had the episode of that.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're just going through it again, just in case everyone's forgotten.
Right.
But, you've got the money to burn on an Apple Watch.
Well, I'm just shredding them. So
Right. See you later.
Bye.
Yeah. When there's nothing to do, all we've been doing is running around, like cleaning the place up, trying to get it all smart. I'll show you a few things that have been done here while I'm here. Just before I finish this video, as you know, we just cleaned the roof of that shed. Hello, Costa.
Hello, mate.
How's it going?
Yeah, the door, yeah. I clean.
Yeah.
I clean the floor.
Cleaning concrete.
Yeah, the concrete, yeah.
Fantastic. You see, we even cleaned the floor here.
Yeah.
This is a brand new fence because there's like a bank on the other side of there that's coming through the fence. That's a brand new sign, £45. Yeah, it took 4 van loads of workmen to actually erect this fence. God only knows what it cost, don't even ask. Brand new MOT signs. Took me about an hour to line them up. Look at all this. Look at that. We'll have the cleanest yard in the village. What else have we got going on? There's our smashed up Mk3 Mondeo. But yeah, it's just been one day after another of cleaning. Lots and lots of cleaning. Andy?
What, more cleaning?
How's it going with the clean? Anyway, this is a good point to end this video now.
More tea.
Yeah, make more tea. So I've got nothing else to show you. I've got no cars to fix. So all we're doing is walking around talking bullshit. Anyway guys, till the next time, stay safe, have a nice day, and see ya!